I've been reading that stuff for a long time. I know exactly what's going on, but I'm sure a lot of you are just confused. What the heck? Spent a lot of time reading that, and we still don't know what's going on. They're afraid that the world's coming to an end. They're looking all around them, and there are people being crucified by the thousands at the roadside. You know, Jerusalem's being pelted. It's a lot like today. How could you live in Gaza and not think this is the end times? How could you not, from a distance, watch Gaza be pummeled from a distance on television, the world around, and not think, okay, the lawless one has to come to power? Well, boy, it sure seems like it's all in place. If that's the case, what do we do? What do we do? We run around like chickens with our heads cut off. Literally, sometimes like blow up chickens, running down the street at protests, trying to get somebody to pay attention and stop the craziness. Sounds just like that. So these people are abandoning everything in anxiety and fear. They're stopping doing what they normally would do and caring for each other, making dinner for each other, cleaning stuff up for a funeral to come. There's still work to be done. There's still hands to hold. There's still work. There's still love. There's still relationships. But you can't focus on those when you're running around with your heart rate through the ceiling, hyperventilating. Your job is still the same because the end is not here yet. We don't know when. And if you think it's coming right now, you're wrong. We've always been wrong. So, and if you were right, what good does it do to run around? Yeah, certainly do your protests, like I have, like you have. Raise your voice on behalf of others. But in the end, if you can't come down from that and dance at the revolution and bring each other gluten-free bars, then it's for nothing. You've got to start acting today like you will after the fact. What do you wish for the world? Start doing that now. That's our job. And not to just run around. So, coming around to something, oh, this is really clear here. Whew. Here we go. So, let's get rid of formalities. We don't need formalities when the world is coming apart, right? Luke 20, 27 to 38. Some Sadducees, those who say there is no resurrection, they don't believe in the resurrection. They came to him and asked him a question. Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies leaving a wife but no children, the man shall marry the widow and raise up children for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first married a woman and died childless. Then the second and the third married her. And so in the same way, all 7 die childless. Finally, the woman also died. In the resurrection, therefore, whose life will the woman be? For the 7 had married her. And Jesus said to them, those who belong to this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are considered worthy of a place in that age and in the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. Indeed, they cannot die anymore, because they are like angels and are children of God, being children of the resurrection. And the fact that the dead are raised, Moses himself showed in the story about the bush, where he speaks of the Lord as the God of Abraham, the God of Jacob, God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Now he is God, not of the dead, but of the living. For to him all of them are alive. All that have gone before are alive in God. So there is no fear. Don't worry. It's all here. How does that clear things up? Right? So I'm going to try to help myself here with the time. I hide a clock up there. And I used to want to hide a clock right there, but then all of these people watching it. And like, is he ever going to get done? And so don't look behind yourself there. We've got a dog named Orzo. And Orzo has a tripwire in the back of his skull. He was born with it. And if he smells something, sees something, hears something, taste something that doesn't fit the pattern that he's known up until that moment in time of his life. And it keeps gathering more and more information over time. So if I cough now, he doesn't jump. He used to do that until it happened so often that he's not worried anymore. PTSD, you call it. It's in the reptilian part of our brain. And as creatures, we all have it, right? So if it's late at night, it's dark like it was this last July. It was about midnight, and we're still up. And all of a sudden, he springs to action, jumps up, and he goes right to the window. And he doesn't say a thing. He just listens and listens and listens. He can't hear anything, can't see anything, can't smell it, but something's tripping him. That reptilian part of his brain puts him on alert. His heart rate goes up, his breathing gets a little bit faster, and no matter what you could bring a warm hot dog out of the fridge and wave it in front of him, and it's not going to deter that dog. He's there until he can figure out what it is. He wants to know what to do, right? It's anxiety, the fear of the unknown, and it trips that trigger in the back of our head. And until we get more information to confirm that we're aware of what's happening outside the pattern that's normal, we're going to have that elevated everything. Cortisol levels, the whole bit. You lose sleep, you can't, you get sick. I mean, all of that stuff if you can't figure it out, which is why if you're in a war zone, you know what it is. You know what it is, and you can't really let that system calm down until the bombs stop. No, even if the bombs stop, a backfire of a car or somebody slamming a door, it puts you right back there until you realize it was just a car door, and then you fall back to sleep, right? But you sleep so lightly. It's that you're on alert. You're on alert. So we're trying to confirm, Orzo, just settle down, little buddy. We got you. We got you. Pick him up, put him in my arms, rigid, until I set him down. And usually that does it. But then he goes right to the back door, and he's looking, staring into the dark. And we let him out, and he goes out the door, and he skirmishes around. And I go out there with a flashlight. And here are 4 raccoon babies, and a mama baby having the babies. They're all up in the tree, and they're about that big, and they're eating all the cherries out of our tree. I can't see them hardly even with a flashlight. I know Orzo can't see them, but something inside of him has been triggered. And he doesn't settle down for weeks until the babies are gone and mama's gone. And we're safe. The world is safe once again. And the routine. And even when they come back every night, it gets less and less of a reaction from him. He knows what it is, and he goes right into barking, wants to go out there and bark at him. It's a game. But eventually he starts to calm his system. We've got the same thing in our bodies. We've got it. And it's anxiety. It's fight, flight, freeze, fawn, whatever you need to do in those times. It trips us. And right now we are all activated. Everybody's activated here no matter what. And usually to deactivate that, like Orzo, you've got to go look out the window. You've got to see what it is. So I go to the news to see what it is so that I can... SNAP benefits are going away. People are going to get hungry. Air traffic controllers still not paid. That's not a high-paying job, folks. And so they come and they go without pay, and they're being promised they won't get even back pay after it's all done. But they're still there steering the planes in and out. For how long? For how long? And they're overworked. Some of them are leaving. So more people are picking up extra shifts. The whole system is falling. The world is ending. And in so many ways, it is. It just is. So you can listen to the news, and you think, okay, now I'm getting the facts, right? I'm getting the facts. This is happening. It's going to be delayed a little bit, but if Democrats can hold out for that, for the Affordable Care Act to continue to be funded, we'll be okay. But you know what? We've already signed up for the next health care insurance plan. And it went up incredibly. which is, my heart starts to race, right? So if the Democrats do win and they do fund it, well, insurance companies have already set their rates for next year, and it's not pretty. Do you think they're going to take those rates back? Say, oh, now that we're funded, we're not going to take that hit. We're not going to make all that money. My fear goes up again. What if they don't give the money back? What if they don't give it to the people that, oh my gosh, well, the rates are still, are they ever going to refund us? Meanwhile, people are hungry. So I think, oh, at least I'm eating. We've got sandwiches in the fridge for people from the funeral. That's a drop in the bucket. So just all of this is amped up. It just keeps going and going and going. What do you do? What do you do? So you focus on what you can know. And then if you turn the channel, another newscast will tell the opposite. So now, what do you believe? So now are you feeling better? You're feeling worse. So we can't look out any window and be comforted. What do you do? Right? And sometimes we want to ask the question about our anxiety so that we can be settled. What's our job, like Thessalonians? Care for each other, love each other, walk with each other, clean the church. Sit down with your kid and say, man, I'm really sorry, I was reactionary. By the way, when you're in this heightened state, there's got to be at least a couple therapists here, online. And when you're in that heightened state, like it says 70 sometimes in the Gospels, fear not. If you're making decisions in your day-to-day life and you've got that system heightened and on fire, it's not a good time to make decisions about your life. What can you do? Somehow you've got to get beyond it. But sometimes we ask the questions of something that has nothing to do with our fears, right? So, I'm going to be done on time. I really will. But this is a word for all of us today. It's 2,000 years ago. Here we are. Or Job. My gosh, what is it? 4,000 years ago. Our first kid, Em, about 3.5 years old. When they were that old, all of a sudden, it's like somebody snapped their fingers and they couldn't sleep anymore. And it's never changed. Out of nowhere, they weren't able to sleep anymore. And to this day, what are they, 26? They still can't sleep. And when it happened, my wife's a therapist, and we just got to go find somebody that knows about sleep. So we went to sleep therapists, we read sleep books. Karen read sleep books. Let me be honest about this. Karen read every sleep book there is. She became the sleep guru for every baby, for every toddler, and it did not work. Em would not sleep. And it led to some nights of some of the worst parenting that we've ever done. It culminated in one night of me sitting on her on the ground saying, "Go to sleep," which was really effective. No. So then, we invited her into our bed, which just kept us awake on the floor. And the poor thing was just getting more and more tired, was just getting wired. And the go to sleep. If you don't get sleep, you're going to get sick. If you don't get sleep, you're going to fall asleep on the playground. If you don't go to sleep, you're going to, just added to the anxiety that they had of not sleeping. Go to sleep. Till finally we saw one therapist, bless her heart, and so now we're like $40,000 in, trying to figure out how to get this kid to sleep, because it's important to sleep, especially early in life. If we don't do this now, we're going to create a serial killer. So it's all on us. So we're sitting with this therapist, and she says, okay, let's focus on before it all happened. What was life like? I mean, has anything changed in your routines? Nothing has changed in our routine. She says, just think about it. Small things, big things, whatever. No, we still read the same books that she demands, and we start the same time. We lay there, and we did put her in a loft. She wanted a loft like all of her cousins that are older. So Usually somebody says, oh, our kids want a loft, and about a year later, a loft finally comes into being. But Dave Greenland, I want a loft. It's done before that night is over. And I thought, well, it can't be a tall loft. It's got to be a short loft because she's little, and we don't want her to get scared or anything. So I made it about that high off the ground, not that far. And the therapist said, of course. 3.5 years old, she doesn't have any spatial relationship where her body is in space. Unless her feet are here. And all of a sudden she wakes up, she rolls over, and she sees nothing but a void. And she's floating. And now she goes to sleep and wakes up just a little bit, and she's floating in space. Get that bed on the ground. Put it on the ground, and it'll get better. See if that works. Wow, I was so excited. Got that loft cut down and put her down on the ground, and then I went to pick her up a couple hours later from daycare. So I go down because she's at a new daycare now too. A lot of things are new. What's new for you? Everything's new. So I go to daycare, and she's sitting out there yawning, almost falling asleep by herself, because she's always by herself. She's falling asleep, got her little book in her hand, and I pick her up, put her in the back seat, and we're driving home, and she's nodding off in the back, and she wakes up, and this is just a couple hours later. Not making this up. You could call and ask Karen, she will tell you, this is not a fishtail. She says to me in the back seat, she says, Daddy, I think I know what's wrong. I think I'm afraid of being up high in the air when I sleep. If I could just be on the floor again. Why didn't you tell us that yesterday? $200 would have been right here in my pocket. And that night was just wonderful. But the cat was out of the bag. From there on out, she had trouble sleeping. It was all connected and connects to everything else. And sleep is the first thing that really, blows a whistle for us. What do we do now? We start to stay up. Insomnia. But we got drugs for that, right? Just take those drugs and we'll get right to sleep like I do. But you're still chewing on it. Our bodies are still on alert. What happens to all our bodies when we're still on alert? I think we're looking at it. So the Sadducees, who don't believe in the resurrection. Resurrection here, there. Some people are really worked up about the resurrection. Am I going to be able to see my dog? I've always laughed and said, I sure hope not. Because think about all the dogs in the world that were mistreated. There to meet their little owners on the bridge. They're not going to forget. It's like, it gets in, it's kind of comical. The Sadducees come to Jesus and they ask him about resurrection. They don't believe it. Are they trying to trick him? That's what I've always thought. But, it's possible, I think, probable. Why would they be asking that question when the world is falling apart? Caesar's calling people in to crush people and crucify them on the road. You just look the other way, and next thing you know, you're rounded up by ICE, deported, made an example of. That's happening all around them. And what they want to ask about is the resurrection? That would be like me in front of an ICE raid while they're trying to take somebody away saying, hey, do you think God could make a rock too big for God to pick up? Oh yeah, God could do anything. So God couldn't pick up that rock after God made it? Well, no, God would make... It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thought in the situation that they're in. Well, I don't know about you, but when I'm in a place where my heart is racing like crazy and I'm sweating and I can't focus right, I come up with the stupidest questions. I focus on the dumbest things. Don't you? Unless I'm by myself. It's like, oh my gosh, the wheels have come off. The kid is sick, needs to come home. Let's sweep. We need to sweep the whole kitchen. We need to clean out the fridge. Their brain is broke. And you want to clean out the fridge? You want to roll up the carpet? Clean under it. Going to cut the grass. I'm going to get that device and make the grass nice and straight. Because it's something I can do. But it means nothing. Goes nowhere. We want to act. What can we do? Because if we don't, we're just going to crawl into a ball. It's natural. It's a human thing. So all of that to say, and I'm gonna end. What time is it? Oh my gosh, we've got a lot of time. We don't. We have a lot of time, people. We have a lot of time. We have a lot of time. It's right here, right now. We can sit and enjoy your pot roast stew from Wednesday night. And I did. You sent me home with 2 servings of that. And I didn't tell Karen about it. I ate both of those by myself for lunch in the next couple of days. She wouldn't eat it anyway. She's a bird. We can eat together. We can make food for each other. We can care. Slow down. Breathe. Don't worry, the fire will be there when we wake up. You know, it's like don't go looking for more information. Find it right here. It's right here. Just calm yourself. Fear not. Right? And that's what every single lesson today says to do. Calm down. If it is the end of the world, as we know it, or otherwise, what are you going to do about it? Anyway, yes, I'll see you at the rally. I'll see you at the protest. I'll see you writing letters. I will see you doing what you can. But slow your breath in your heart first. Do it often. I always say my favorite form of meditation nowadays is it's fail-proof. Just pay attention to your right foot. What does it feel like? What's the pressure on that right foot? You could do it all day long if you want, but you won't. You'll forget after about 30 seconds. Come back to it. What does it feel like? And once you focus on your body someplace, just focus on it. Everything calms down. And we remember each other. Most of all, we remember ourselves. Somehow Job knew the trick. He didn't take anybody's advice. Run around with your hair on fire. Curse God for sending all the bombs. All I know is I'm here and I'm alive. Job says. I'm here. I don't like the way that book ends, though. A lot of books don't end the way I think they should. But I'm here, and I'm thankful. Glad we're growing old together. Every single one of us is, not all of us are that old. Some of you are really old. And I'm so glad you're here, because in the blink of an eye, I'm there with you. I'm just about there with you now. It's okay. It's a gift to grow old. So who will Karen be with in the great hereafter, in the resurrection? Will Bruce be her husband? Will I be left standing on the side? What a dumb question. What a dumb, dumb question. But we ask dumb questions like that when we don't focus on what's real. What are the Sadducees really worried about? They're all worried about dying. They're all worried about what's going to happen when ice gets a hold of them on the road. Just like the rest of the people. So you ask dumb questions just to get over to the next day when you could start all over again. Don't ask dumb questions. Just think about your right foot. Even if it hurts, Mom. Mom, even if it hurts, Especially if it hurts. Think of your right foot. You're here. And you can feel. What more could you ask? Amen.